Alright guys, saw this video is coming out so late. My computer completely took a poop. So I apologize. It crashed. I was gonna live stream tonight and then my computer was just like awful. So with that being said, guys, today we have a press conference of Coach Taylor talking about yesterday's game. This is more of a cool, calmed head, type of situation where yesterday he was upset. Obviously, we all were upset, and it was an awful way to, end off a Sunday. So this is more of a he can sit back, look back, rewatch the tape, watch everything, and kind of get a better look at everything. I will have the questions on the screen as always, and I also will have enhanced audio for the reporters and himself. Let's get right into it.
Well, there was, again, a lot of factors that played into it. We make the corrections on the things that we can control offensively and then move on to Baltimore. So I think it's one you don't want to dwell too much on. Pretty clear we weren't good enough on third down. We were about a yard short on several drives there in the first quarter, 2 of the 3 drives in the first quarter. And so, sometimes it's the inches like that set you back from gaining some true momentum in the first half. And that's what this game was about.
On third and manageable, really, third and shorts, and you're like 7 of them and only got 1.
Yeah.
I mean, was there something that was a common thread in some of those that just wasn't right for you guys yesterday?
Well, the very first 3rd and 1, we had a quick game throw in the rain, and it was a little just sloppy. The throw and the catch was just tough. We had another 3rd and 1 where we ran it, and just didn't quite get off quick enough and able to sustain that first down. So those are 2 that come to mind there in the first half. Big picture, there's a lot of confidence in our room that we're going to be just fine. It's first game. We won't make too much out of it. Wish we'd had more success, should have had more success, but we didn't. And you got to give credit to Cleveland. They came out ready to play. They had a great plan. Their players executed it. And, they deserve that week 1 win.
As he says, and I think this is like the best perspective possible, you just kind of got to move on to Baltimore. Like, again, at the end of the day, you can't change what happened in the past. You can't change how that game went. And yes, there are a lot of issues, but as I said before in many videos, it's not about changing the past. It's about learning from the past and being motivated moving forward. Don't use week 1 as a crutch. Use week 1 as motivation moving forward. And I mean, I think really, I still will 1,000% say I think it was the play call. I think the play call was absolutely dog water. I think if we had better play call and we ran the ball more and we did trickery and we did, end arounds and stuff like that, just really open up the playbook, I think we would have been so much more successful. And I think it really came down to that one simple fact that we just played a very vanilla offense, and you're not going to win against a team like Cleveland when you play vanilla.
That's an area, those third and shorts, those third and manageables, I mean, that was your bread and butter last year. I mean, you guys won the best in the league. So is there an extra frustration in, like, we're losing in spots that we have traditionally been really good?
Yeah, we just the passing game was difficult yesterday, and you look at one of the completions he made to TB. You're basically shot putting the football to him, and they had the same issues on their end, and so that's something we take great pride in, as the passing game and being able to execute and getting a leg up on people. And yesterday was just a real challenge for us, and that's all it was. And so we'll make the corrections and we'll move on.
Yeah, like I said many times, I don't want to take this game and then try to make it out to be, oh, well, the weather was the only reason we lost. The weather, because yes, as Coach said, they also dealt with the weather too. They missed like 7 or 8, 9, 10. It was like something crazy. Wide open throws. Where reality-wise, if they hit the throws that they missed against us, they'd probably put up way more points against us. But they kept missing them, and a lot of the reason why was because of the weather. It was hard to grip the football. It was hard to throw the football. That's why, again, I know we pride ourselves on the passing game, but listen, if it's not working, you gotta change. You gotta make adjustments. That's how you win. It's not what happens. Well, listen, going into a game, it's not how you play going into the game. It's how you win the game, or how you prepare for the game. It comes down to adjustments during the game and playing with those adjustments. And honestly, we're a second half team. We're a very, very good second half team. So the fact we didn't go into the tunnel and say, listen, what we're going to do second half here, we're going to run the ball, we're going to run trick plays, we're going to just get the ball down the field, keep this offense, open it up a little bit and make it, a little bit more than just a vanilla offense. It surprised a lot. It surprised me a lot.
on those third downs, what did you see from Travion and Chris? Did you like what you saw in pass pro?
I thought they did a good job. I thought the backs played well yesterday. I thought they gave us enough in protection. I thought Joe Mixon ran the football really hard. I thought he had a really good game for us, gave us what we needed. So I thought those guys did a good job executing in all the phases that we need them to in terms of offense.
The deep balls to team one-on-one matchups, why didn't those work yesterday the same way they usually do?
The deep
Throws to team, there were probably 3 or 4.
Yeah, I can think of one. Yeah, there's one on an inside fade and a one-on-one situation. That's the one that stands out in my mind. And, some of those 50-50 balls, there's just, some of them were difficult for us yesterday.
How'd you come out injury-wise, Zach? Any concerns out of that game?
Concerns right now, no. We'll continue to assess, but I think there's a good chance that most of our team's ready to go. If not, maybe practice on Wednesday. We'll find out some more a little bit today, but be ready to go later in the week.
My problem is, to his point of the 50-50 balls, I mean, it seemed like every single freaking third down, we just threw the ball 40 yards down the field and tried to moss their secondary, which I don't really think that was a 50-50 ball problem. I think that was really just a poor play calling problem. I'm not trying to make this whole entire video of me complaining about Brian Callahan, but at some point, I mean, like, it's 3rd and 5, and every single 3rd and 5, we were, 2 for 12 on third downs? And every single third and short, it was simply hike the ball, throw it 60 yards. And it's funny because the one time on 3rd and 3 that we didn't throw the ball 60 yards, what ended up happening? Oh, Jamar Chase called a wide open pass to the right-hand side for a first down. So it's like, if I was a reporter, I'd ask that question. Like, why was it every third and short, you just decided that 60 yards down the field was the play call? Yeah, sorry, guys.
Was the sorry. How was the pass protection overall?
I thought,
in terms of
yeah.
communication and all that?
Again, I think there were some things that we can clean up internally. Just some subtle communication things. I thought the on the sideline communication was really good, cleaning up some of the protections as we went. I had to make some adjustments. I thought what we got enough to win the game in protection wise. Obviously, it's a tough front. They present some challenges. There's some unknowns about some looks you're going to get in week 1. I was encouraged by what I saw from those guys, and feel like we can continue to build on that and feel good about the protection moving forward.
I will give the one not the one credit, but the one, not crutch. How do I put this? The one excuse I will say for the Bengals here offensively is that we did go against Jim Schwartz, which was the first time we ever went against him with the Cleveland Browns. Okay, so they have a new defense coordinator, again, a new Super Bowl winning defense coordinator. So it was our first time looking at what he was going to throw at us. And listen, at the end of the day, he threw everything but the kitchen sink at us, okay? He put Myles Garrett in different situations. He moved him around the defensive line. He put him at linebacker. That's the only thing I will say that I really will, make the excuse for, is that that's the first time we played him. But you know what? It can never happen again.
Yesterday, Ted Garrison, the communication was poor. Why do you think it was poor?
Well, there's some things early on that we were able to clean up as we went, and so I won't get too in depth in it, but I felt encouraged as the game went that we were on the same page and had made the right adjustments, and that's part of playing week 1 football. You got to be able to do that as you move on. Good.
There was so much made about the glove, Burrow going back and forth with the glove. He's obviously played in games, whether it be snow and rain.
Yeah, snow and rain are two totally different things.
But what was it so much with the weather climate yesterday that was tricking him up in his ability to grip the ball? What was it about
the rain? I mean, the rain. That was probably the biggest rain game I've been a part of in 10 years. And I can't speak for them, but you saw in the kicking game, and so sometimes the ball just gets away from you, can't get a great grip on it. There's a battle of, okay, let's get some quick game. That's even harder because you got to grab it quicker and you don't get a grip. And so then you're trying to play action and maybe get a better grip and push it down the field. Well, then they got a pretty good rush. They're putting 5 D linemen in the game and creating problems that way. So, there were just things you have to continue to balance. I thought they did a great job handling it. Cleveland did. And there's some things that we can certainly do better.
It was hard to tell if it was fully raining, if it was just misting, and as a full quarterback, is there a big difference when it's just like a mist hovering? That kind of makes it.
It was raining down on maybe you were inside, but it was raining. It was raining.
When you're watching the tape of the game that had such bad weather, how does that change or make you more assessment?
You don't overstate a lot of the things that happen. There's so many things that we're confident in ourselves to move forward from. There are certainly things that we could have done better, that you take the elements out of it, you take the other team out of it. There are some things that usually we are much better at, that we weren't good enough on, some phases of offense in particular. Feel really strong that those are things that we've cleaned up today and will be much better moving forward.
With the injuries, and you said you thought most of the guys would be able to go Wednesday, does that include Osai, or are you just talking about guys that played yesterday?
Yeah, Osai, I mean, he really is day-to-day right now, and so we'll see where he's at. I don't want to make any guesses on where he'll be on Wednesday, but he had a really good week last week.
I want Joseph Asai back, right? Obviously, I'm excited to have him back. But again, I don't think that he's like, him coming back is going to be what changes this team completely. Because again, our defense looked pretty good. And I saw a lot of people trash our defense. And I'm going to say a bazillion times from the hilltops of anything that right now, our defense yesterday, played lights out football. They played the best they humanly possibly could play, with the fact that we punted the ball 12 freaking times to them. So anyone who blames our defense, I completely null and void your statement, your comments, because there is no reason to blame our defense. Our offense was 1000% the problem. I do question the one reporter asking about, like, she tried to make it sound like, and again, obviously Coach Taylor did, kind of destroy her for this, is that she tried to make it sound like the rain and snow are the same thing. Rain and snow are not the same thing in any way possible. First off, snow, you can't usually even see the you can't even see the field when it comes to snow. Not only that, yes, while they're both slippery, don't get me wrong, usually rain's a lot more slippery, especially when you play in Cleveland when it comes to mud and just nastiness on the field. The rain is completely different in every way than snow. And also, again, snow does affect the ball differently, but usually rain has wind and it just moves the ball around. That was an interesting question. I know he kind of destroyed her for that, but yeah. I mean, the whole point was, are you going to blame the weather? And again, as he said, that was one of the worst weather games we have seen. And yet, it was a monsoon. I mean, look at the fans. The fans were absolutely in ponchos and getting, completely dumped on by the water. I don't know why the one reporter said, "Oh, it wasn't that bad." Like, no, it was that bad. I don't know. Like he said, I don't know if you're inside or something, but you're a little crazy if you say it wasn't that bad.
Do you think Dax and Nick played, maybe especially in tandem?
Yeah, I think the defense as a whole, I'll speak to them. I thought the defense as a whole certainly gave us enough. We didn't do anything to take the pressure off of them, and really held up some bad field possession situations. If you look at the field possession, the second quarter drive starts, the second quarter in particular, completely lopsided, and they continued to make stop after stop, gave up 3 points there for a long time, and then obviously had the one right before the half, but gave us what we needed. We just weren't able to take the pressure off of them. Very reminiscent of the Halloween game last year. Exact same situation, really, if you want to look at it that way.
Understanding that slow starts don't derail us, as we saw last year.
Yep.
Does there have to be, will you guys as a coaching staff have a conversation about training camp, preseason, to get yourselves in a better position for week 1 next year? Is that even a thought at this point?
Those are something we'll assess next year.
Just going back to what you're talking about with the defense, when you're playing a guy like Nick Chubb, who is just going to get production, he's one of the best players in the league, how do you evaluate defensive success against him? I mean, obviously, I'm sure you don't look at his personal stats, and of course, the most important thing is winning and losing, but how do you evaluate how your defense played against him in that specific player?
I thought our defense did a good job against the run for the most part. There's a couple things, again, we can clean up. But again, I thought enough. One thing you can't allow them to do is play with the lead, get 40 rushes, stick to their identity, and so you got to get a team like that out of that. And we didn't do anything to do that and take our pressure off the defense.
With you guys, like, what are the conversations in game? Obviously, you're a pass first team. First, it's raining. You had a couple nice rushing moments. How are you balancing run versus pass kind of over the game?
Well, it was certainly run first. I think 11 of our first 18 normal down plays were runs. 2 screens, quick game, so we were trying to do that stuff to take the pressure off the pass game. Third downs is third down. We try to balance that as we manage that. And again, we're down 10-0, and then still try to be patient with the run game. We had a really good drive where I think we leaned on 4 runs in a row, and O-line and Mixon and tight ends did a great job there on that drive. So again, we tried to do different things and just didn't find a great rhythm yesterday, and that was the tough part.
I don't really agree with that in any way because it wasn't 10-0 until 20 seconds ago before halftime. It was 3-0 for 99% of that first half. And again, every single 3rd and 5 was just simply a 60-yard throw down the field. To the point of the run game, we started doing the run game, and it was effective. It was actually pretty okay. And then it's like we completely abandoned it, and it wasn't, I mean, I hate to go against Coach here, but it wasn't the fact that we were down by 10 points, because that wasn't until literally to almost the second half. We were down by 3 majority of it, because our defense was playing lights out, and we just got rid of the run game. Like, I would love to have seen a 3rd and 5 where we ran the ball for like maybe at least tried to run the ball with Joe Mixon for like 5 yards. And if you don't get it, it's 4th and 1. Go for it. Throw a short little pass and try to get a first down. So I think we just all together, our game plan was trash. And I think what happened was we ran the ball. It was effective. We tried to use that as ways to open up the passing game. It didn't work, and we just kept trying to do the passing game. And yes, before halftime, they had that Deshaun Watson touchdown run, and then just completely fell apart after that.
Cheeto, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Cheeto come through okay, and how did you like DJ?
Yeah, to my eye, Cheeto came through fine. Obviously we'll see with some of these guys today what kind of soreness they got. Thought DJ played well in his first game.
You had a slew of guys on teams making their debuts. Rollins, Battle, to be honest. How do you think they held up?
Yeah, I think in all the areas there's going to be some cleans we got to clean up. I didn't think the moment was too big for any of those young guys. That's step one, and that's encouraging.
How frustrating was making the field position battle for most of the first half? Seems like y'all were pinned back, kind of go from the field. How big of a difference is that? How much of an obstacle is that, especially when the weather is the way it is?
Yeah, that's a big deal in this division. It's a big deal when you combine that with the weather and on the road because your cadence is an issue. So there's a lot of factors working against you when you're in a road game like that. And so that's where the kicking game's got to make a big step there. And that's where the offense, you don't necessarily have to score every time, but you do need to get some first downs. And so that's where just coming up a yard short on the second drive and the third drive is a huge deal. Just gaining one more first down and being able to get that punt 10 yards further is something that can make a big difference. And, we certainly on offense didn't do anything to help ourselves there.
With Brad Robbins specifically, not the kind of debut he would like to have, do you attribute that maybe more to the nerves of a debut or the weather?
Man, I mean, it's, you don't want to sit here and make excuses. That's a tough situation, first game. Obviously some things that they'll talk through in the special teams room and, but it's a tough one and things that we'll need to improve on. Again, just watching snaps, catches, both sides of the ball for those guys and our guys, it was a challenging situation.
A lot about the grip on the ball in the rain for Joe, but with his calf, you guys not seeing him out there in a game before, that could be an effect there with just the grass being wet. Were you feeling any limitations or anything you were concerned about in play calling with him, but having that injury and a wet field and everything else?
There were things we factored in going into the game, and just didn't play well enough, didn't give ourselves enough opportunities to get into a good rhythm and do some of the things that could have helped us more. So that was challenging.
Joe said yesterday after the game that no one's going to ban. As I alluded to before you started going through last year in the AFC Championship. You sensing that today, the guys are confident back out there.
Our guys are in a great place, and we've played enough games now as a team together to understand what kind of team we have and to see that even on film like this yesterday, and still be encouraged, still be motivated to move on and play in front of a great home crowd. And one thing I will say that I will continue to echo this week is our home field is such an advantage, especially early in the season with new players on a team and new communication. That's what we're looking really forward to is playing in front of our home crowd and getting those advantages with the noise and the way that our fans always turn up, and support us that way. That's gonna be a great advantage that we can have this Sunday at 1 because you got to grab it.
All right, let me unpack that ending part. Yes, playing in the jungle is definitely the best thing ever. And I think we will play a lot better in the jungle. Again, there were so many problems that happened in that game. There was. At the end of the day, you can't, you can't blame one thing, I will say. Because yes, I do like to blame the, play call. Obviously, Brian Callahan, I think, fumbled the bag. But at the end of the day, Coach is right. There was a lot of things that went into that loss, and there was a lot of problems. But, as he said, and I'll say it a million times, it's week 1. You got to just put it behind you. You got to move forward, and you got to realize that this is one of 22 weeks we have this season. So there's nothing you can really do or home in on, because you can sit here, you can make excuses, you can sit here and be upset over and over again. Oh, why did this happen? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? Or you can just accept the fact it happened and you just keep moving forward. And that's how this football game goes. Listen, football, at the end of the day, it's a very fast-paced sport when it comes to, like the year. Obviously, it is 22 weeks for us, but you still got to keep it going. You can't sit back and dwell on anything, because in 7 days, you're playing another team. In 7 days, you're playing another opponent, and you got to beat that opponent. So, we're on to Baltimore, and I think that's the best way we can put it. See you guys next one. Peace out.